Good evening, everybody.
I gotta say
Yeah.
this. Every time I keep forgetting to say this, but after watching your little intro there, Jeremy,
Hmm.
that 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 Hulk Hogan body slam of Andre the Giant,
Yeah,
you do realize, and I hope everybody does realize this, that would have never happened if Andre didn't want it to happen.
Absolutely.
yeah, we he
You
was
know, but that made him so great. That's the thing. It's like he wasn't so great. Andre was just like it was his way of passing the torch by letting him do it.
Nope.
And that goes true today. Those big guys, they will not. And I
Yep.
saw a lot of examples of that today. Trying to pick up the smaller guy, trying to pick up the bigger guy. It's not going to happen if he don't want it to.
Exactly.
yeah, we saw a very clear case of that one in
A
one of
couple of times tonight.
yeah. Um, Donald is not here today. He had to do something with his family, sort of like in aftermath of the storms that blew through the area. Everybody's okay, but it's just some work that we got to do. We are going to be talking about the King and Queen of the Ring today. First time ever this show has done a review on the day of the show. But before we do that, I do,
Okay.
I do want to talk about something really quick,
Oh
and
no.
that is this magazine right here.
Oh, cool.
What magazine is that?
It is
Really? Star?
Wrestling Star magazine.
Oh, it's a wrestling magazine? Not like Star, the Inquirer Star?
Yeah, I think it is. Um,
I mean, I remember Star the magazine. It was kind of like my mother would call those smut magazines.
yep,
Yes.
that's
They
exactly.
just had nothing but gossip in it.
I would
Yep.
hate to
But
think.
she loved reading them. She said that I take them to the bathroom with me and they made food reading material while I'm sitting on the toilet.
I would hate to think that that's the same star that's doing it. But I have to say, after going through this, I wouldn't be surprised if it were the same people because this thing is completely riddled with errors.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah. For example, Hulk Hogan and The Rock met each other at WrestleMania 8.
what?
Pamela Anderson was um, the bell ringer
Oh, bell ringer. Yeah.
at WrestleMania 6. Finn Balor lost the tag team titles at Elimination Chamber.
Yeah. That would if there was that riddled with error, I would believe that because of the type to pay for their stories.
Yeah. And what was it? Oh, Rey Mysterio won not only the Royal Rumble in 2006, but he also won the Royal Rumble in 2018. That's the
Does it
one.
at least have good pictures?
They got some good pictures here, and it's some some of the stuff in here is just pure crap.
I've never
Uh,
seen that magazine. That's interesting.
yeah, this actually came out about a month or so before WrestleMania did, and I just got around to reading it a couple weeks ago.
Where'd you get it at?
Walmart.
Oh, okay. That might be why I avoid that place.
Well, it's in some of the other stores, and according to this, it's supposed to stay on display until June 17th. So there's still time if you want to go get it.
I might go check it out just to
Yeah.
read the errors.
Yeah, I thought, okay, one or two errors I can see that, but I just rattled off five for you. And
Right.
already on the cover, this came out before WrestleMania. Look what's on Cody's shoulder.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's interesting. You need Cody winning now into your intro, by the way.
And look at Rhea. Look at the belt that she's wearing.
That
What
looks
is
like.
that?
That's the Intercontinental
I
title.
was just gonna say it looks like the Intercontinental title.
Yeah,
When did she ever have that?
she didn't.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, as far as I know, there's only been one woman that's ever held a man's title,
Yep.
and
Only
that was China.
hmm And I don't think she actually had it solo. I think it was the time that she co-held it with Chris Jericho. I don't think she ever actually had it by herself. I don't think.
Yeah, she beat a man for it. She really did.
Jarrett, wasn't it?
I
Jeff Jarrett?
I don't know. It was the Intercontinental title.
Yeah. I'd have to Google. I might Google real quick and see if I can find it.
That's actually what I'm doing myself.
Intercontinental Champion. Feuded with him. She defeated Jeff Jarrett for the title at No Mercy.
And she also defeated. Well, it was a tag match. Her and Eddie Guerrero beat Val Venus and Trish Stratus, and apparently China pinned Trish.
Trish Stratus, Val Venus. I remember him.
Hello, ladies.
So China is actually a two-time holder of that title.
Yeah.
But still, she actually won it by defeating a man for it.
Yeah.
And she's also the first woman to enter the men's Royal Rumble, and twice to boot.
You know, there was a couple of them, and I'm sorry to say it, but WWE underutilized them that could have probably been just as good as China. You know, and one of them that comes to my mind is that Rodriguez chick.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Well, she's been having a lot of medical issues too.
Right, she's gotten injured a few times as well.
Yeah. The only thing about her right now is that she's too happy. She's smiling all the time. She needs to be mean.
Monster.
Yeah, she needs to be. She needs to take lessons from Braun Strowman or somebody,
Yeah.
and really get her dark side out.
That I don't think that'll work out too well. They're exes now.
Yeah.
But still,
I know.
you know, she needs to get somebody to take lessons from Nia Jax.
Somebody. You become the monster.
She's really she can really be aggressive when she wants to be.
Yeah.
You know?
Actually,
And throw her weight around, but she looks like she lost a lot of weight too.
she would benefit from talking to Paul Heyman.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
would.
He would be the guy to really get her going.
Yep, the genius behind a lot of greats.
Yes. So anyway, weird setup that they had on Peacock for this, because they had a 7-hour block for this thing, and they had a 2-hour pre-show. Which,
Yeah, I missed that.
Yeah, which I only ever seen on WrestleMania. So I'm really surprised that they did it for this one.
Yeah, I missed that because I was out and about getting stuff.
So in the second half of the pre-show, normally the pre-show match starts at about quarter till, and that's what I was banking on. So at 12:30, I started making lunch, and all of a sudden they're going. So I only got to see Jade Cargill's entrance, and that was it. About halfway through the pay-per-view, I saw a video clip of the finish, and it was a pretty badass finish the way that Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill did on Candice.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that match you got to realize was made like yesterday. Because Candice and what was her name? What's her name? I forget.
Indy Hartwell.
Yeah, those two got up in Bianca and Jade's face yesterday at a post interview after Bianca's match.
See, I
And
didn't.
that's how this match got made. It was like a last minute match.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't watch any of SmackDown, so I didn't know that. I just happened to notice that it was on there. Oh, it's a pre-show.
No, that was like a last minute added match. That's why it was first, I think, because there wasn't a whole lot of hype for it to begin with. Like the rest of the matches, you know, they get hyped up weeks and months beforehand. And I think those two got what was coming to them. You know, and I got to give props for Bianca to fight like that after fighting Nia Jax, you know, less than 24 hours beforehand, and getting that knee kind of re-injured.
I saw the end of that match, and I saw how Nia did the sumo splash on Bianca. I'm thinking, holy cow, she just took every bit of air out of her lungs.
Oh yeah, I mean, even though it looks like she's lost weight, she's still
a big girl.
a force to be reckoned with.
Oh,
Let's
she's
put it that way.
a big girl, but damn, she can move.
Yeah.
She can go.
Yeah, and I think she can move now. I think she's moving a lot better than she was, you know, when she looked like she had more weight to her.
Yes, absolutely.
And I like how they're really pushing her as, you know, a monster. But with Bianca Belair and Jade, I do have one complaint about this team, is that every time they come out, they always come out separate.
I think that'll change. That'll change eventually. They're a new tag team, Jeremy. Give it a break. Some of these tag teams, when they first form, they always come out separately for a little while until they make a new intro or decide what to call them. The audience hasn't given them a name yet.
Yeah, but they're champions.
No, they haven't either come up with a name for themselves, or they're waiting for the audience to name them.
It's like those old teams, like Bruno Sammartino and Pedro Morales or whatever, and never came out together. And
That was a power team back then.
yeah,
I think if beyond, they're going to have to do it sooner or later. I agree with you there. And them making an intro or doing something, because this coming out separately is not good for them. But see, they are the true definition of a good tag team. See, if they can keep on the same track, they're doing what they're doing now. And here's the thing: what destroys most tag teams are the egos and the jealousies and that. And if they can keep away from that and stay good friends and on the same page, they're going to hold on to them belts for a while.
Well, we have seen so many times, not just in wrestling, but in life in general. When you get two alphas together, they're not going to last that long.
Well, especially women. All right. And I don't mean to put your show on the spot here, Jeremy. I don't mean to do that, but I've got experience with this. Okay. I lived and I didn't sleep with all of them, only one of them. But I lived with 3 women for a while.
Oh boy.
Okay. They were roommates. Now I literally lived with them, okay, because I was, sharing the, living in the bed, with my girlfriend, and oh my God, the 3 of them would butt heads often, very often, and it's like you get these females and they like to be such alphas. My brother married one. She thinks she knows it all, everything. You can have hardcore proof that that's not who you think it is in that movie, I mean, like you can have the box cover and say his name's not there. This is the actor playing that person. No, that's wrong. That's misprinted. I'm not kidding. She was also the type that took over Thanksgiving dinner and took over my mom's kitchen.
Ooh.
You don't do that kind of stuff,
No, you
but
don't.
it happens. So you can't, especially if all three women like to cook, the fights happen in the kitchen a lot. And I'm thinking I should get out of here before they start reaching into the knife drawer.
Get an episode of Unsolved Mysteries or something, huh?
But I think that these two are meshing pretty good right now. And if they can stay that way, they can be a dominated force. Look at, there was another team I was hoping was really going to last because they would have totally dominated the women's division. But they couldn't get along. Their egos kept getting in the way of each other. Tamina and Nia.
Oh.
Cousins.
Yeah,
Something
but
like
not
that,
only
right?
were they cousins, they were cousins, but the thing is, those two would have been a hell of a force to try to beat in the women's division.
Yeah.
They could have stayed on the same page and set aside their egos. But their egos, and they kept trying to outdo each other and tag and they just tag themselves in. The person from the outside tags themselves in because I can do it better. And they kept trying to show each other up all the time. You can't do that.
It happened every time Nia had a partner.
Yeah.
Every time Nia had a partner, she was partnered with Shayna Baszler. That sure didn't last very long, even though they were the champions and they were still going at it.
Right. That's why most of those women don't, and then the men too. Sometimes their egos get in the way of each other.
Mm-hmm.
They should.
Think of what that could have been, the female bloodline side of that. Tamina, Nia, Naomi.
I already told you that whole bloodline story is far from over yet. We're due
absolutely.
for bloodline civil war.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, we're definitely looking at something big for War Games this year.
And I'm also surprised that the new Wyatt family didn't show up today because it was Bray Wyatt's birthday. So
maybe Monday.
I was expecting that, but nope, didn't happen. But we got another one of those codes.
Cool. Oh, did we?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there was another one of those codes, and right after the code, there was a face flash.
Oh, okay, cool. I'll have to go back and find that.
You're gonna have to watch that whole thing closely.
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly when it happened, but I was sitting here watching it pretty intently. Oh.
I'll definitely have to. Making a note.
Did not realize that his birthday was 2 days ago.
Oh, it's 2 days ago.
Yeah, born the 20th.
Well, then it was an old post that I saw.
Yeah.
Either way, close. Either way.
But we're gonna have to do it sometime. It's got to be getting close to them coming out.
Well,
yeah.
Each new thing that pops up on the screen when you see what it is, it's like, okay, it's coming. So they're really building up that anticipation.
That's what she said.
What are they rumored that they might unveil themselves at Clash of the Castle?
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Then I don't know.
I don't know, but all I know is one of them. I mean, I know, I don't know how they could have left him out, but I've got a feeling they brought him in early, and that's why he was already here. All right, and because there was interviews, massive interviews while he was out on the injury list after Bray Wyatt died and stuff, especially real close to when they were talking about, the whole documentary thing came out and stuff. Braun Strowman was saying when he comes back, when he makes his comeback after his injuries and stuff was going to heal, he definitely wanted to do something to honor the memory of Bray Wyatt.
Oh, absolutely. I don't see why.
So I'm thinking he came in early and he's going to be joining them at some point
Yeah.
when they come in, or they might be coming one at a time. And then all of a sudden, they all got masked and the whole. But I saw fireflies. I saw people out there with fireflies in the audience.
Oh man! Ever since that one with Jay back in France, yeah.
I mean, it wasn't like France today, but still, they were there.
They were there, and there were a couple of times where the audience was really into singing the intro, like they were singing Randy's intro.
Yeah.
They hit his intro harder than they did with Cody's.
Right.
Oh.
The attendance, from what I'm seeing, has not been announced for this event, but it was clear it was a sold out event.
Can I ask you? Did you watch that guy's little podcast type thing that was like immediately followed?
No.
It kind of went through the history of all the all the King and Queen of the Rings.
I did see that.
And you know what? I really enjoyed that because here's the thing. Correct me if I'm wrong, because my memory gets a little shady sometimes. I chalk that up to the pot. But anyway, Bret Hart won the first one. Okay. But the thing is, you gotta realize
Pay-per-view one.
Well, but yeah. But anyway,
before
the first person that won the first King of the Ring was, I'm going to say this, was more than a king than the people are today, because they did that. The first early one was done all in one night. You didn't have Monday night Raw and Friday night SmackDown. You just had Monday Night Raw, and it was all done on a Monday Night Raw.
Yep. Morocco.
So the last two people that ended up facing off at the end of that, could have possibly, I can't remember how the bracket went because they showed the bracket and stuff, but, one of them definitely had 4 fights just to get that last fight. Yep. All in one night. So they had multiple matches, both the two final competitors that night of King in the Ring had multiple matches that night. These guys today, they had their qualifying matches weeks ago. Some of them, the others, the final two being last night, they had their match prior, less than 24 hours prior to today's pay-per-view.
Yeah, I would much prefer them have it all in one night instead of.
Thank you. Exactly.
Yes, I agree. I was just looking at the first winners and stuff. So.
Those people that were in those types of the King of the Rings, where it was all in one night, those are the true Kings of the Rings.
Yeah.
Don Morocco, Harley Race, Randy Savage.
I mean, those are the true tough guys, because they had to go through multiple matches to get there and win.
Right. Ted DiBiase, Tito Santana. Sorry, I was just reading. And then Bret Hart won it twice, and then it started becoming multiple nights after that.
Tito, I used to remember he did that arena. Yeah, well, he reminded me of Speedy Gonzalez. But I loved watching him wrestle because I always liked the high flyers, the
Yeah.
ones that can really do some amazing shit off the ropes. You know,
I can still remember watching the first King of the Ring pay per view, and it was so new, so fresh because for years all you had was just the Rumble, Mania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series. Now all of a sudden you got King of the Ring, and it fills in that nice little gap there to where it's either 2 or 3 months in between each pay per view, which was perfect. A good
I've got one almost every month.
Now it's getting.
Yeah, like I said, now you've got almost every month.
No, it's every 3 weeks now.
Yeah.
Because we're only 3 weeks
No
away.
way. Yeah, right. I remember them saying that 3 weeks away from Backlash.
And then 3 weeks later is Money in the Bank. 3 weeks after that, SummerSlam.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they're really filling up. They're really filling up the calendar.
And
Eventually,
SummerSlam is going to 2 nights now.
Yeah, see, but they're making more money at the doors, but that's going to change now too, hopefully. So we'll see how that whole lawsuit thing goes with Ticketmaster.
Yeah.
yeah,
Hopefully, it'll change the prices and make them go down.
I'd like to see the Rumble go to 2 nights. Have 4 matches, and then 1 Rumble, and then 4 more matches in the next Rumble.
Okay. I was thinking about that last night. And I was like, how would you do that? You'd have to have the Rumble's main event.
Well, with all these pay-per-view, well, I still call them pay-per-views, but with
Me
all
too.
these
Me too.
with all these pay-per-view events that they've got now, at least, and I'm hoping that somewhere along the line, Triple H gets a fucking brain. I mean, I like the guy and all, but the whole thing upsets me, and I know it was Vincent's fault because the way he treated women, obviously. But I still think the women deserve an Intercontinental and a U.S. title.
I would just go with 1 because on the main roster they don't have that many. When you
But
look,
they could have, if they
good.
they've got enough room for it.
Yes, they do.
That's what I'm saying. They've got enough room for it, and they've got enough women if they do it right. Because them women in NXT, they're fabulous. I've watched it. I don't watch NXT too often, but when I do, I see some of them women on there, and I can't remember the names, but holy shit,
I know the
they
one
are impressive.
getting a lot of attention. Her name is Sol Luca, and she does
Like her finisher.
she does a variation of the RKO.
The Soul Snatcher.
No, SOL. So
Yeah. But
Yeah, see, they can do it. I mean, even if they have to put like the Intercontinental or US title over there on NXT for a while just to get it done, they can do it.
well, right
They
now,
get the money, they can do it.
American Championship for the women there.
and next NXT, yeah.
They've got enough women on their rosters combined to be able to fill those 2 belts pretty easily.
Yeah. I think it was a mistake that they merged the NXT tag titles with the women's title. I think that was a mistake. They should have just left them alone.
Yeah, they're not giving the women the credit they should.
Yeah.
And they fought so hard to get this far, and Vince McMahon was really a big barrier of it all. Because he if he had his ways, he'd still have the bra and panty matches and them wrestling in a pool of pudding and stuff.
Yes.
And,
No, I'm just kidding.
And there only being a Divas belt. That's it. Remember that way back when it was just a Divas belt and they had all those types of matches?
That purple butterfly thing or whatever
Yeah.
it was. Yep.
and all these matches lasted all of 2 minutes or 3 minutes.
But you
Yeah.
know how degrading that belt was to them women because of
They
what
said
they
so
went
too.
through to get there. You know, Lita was one of them, and you know that held that belt and stuff back in the day. It took them a long time to just get a woman's title.
Yep.
Hopefully, it'll eventually lead to another Evolution pay-per-view.
Yeah, that would be cool as hell too.
Yeah. Because I thought they when they did it the first time, I thought they did well with it.
Yeah,
I think it would be cool if they did like I don't know if they could contracts blah blah blah, but like a Forbidden Door women's paper, like have Jordan Grace back and Willow and whoever in AEW and all that, have them all come in for.
well, if those people, that ain't going to happen yet until the heads of AEW and the heads of WWE can get along and compromise.
Right, yeah.
I don't see
Uh,
that happening anytime.
And that ain't gonna happen.
Right now, you got one side saying, "Oh, I'm willing to compromise," but they aren't, and the other side saying the same shit. So
Right.
you don't know who's the one that's not, but obviously one of them's not willing.
But obviously they can do some stuff with TNA, so you can bring the TNA women anyway.
Oh yeah, no, they do have a working partnership with them,
Yeah.
and
I
also
think it would be cool, not just because otherwise you just see the same girls over and over, and
Right.
it kind of gets a little boring.
and on top of that, they also got Booker T's wrestling.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so they can work with that as well.
Well,
Yeah,
that's just it. They should. I think one of these days they should do that. Bring in those two titles for women and have an all women's pay-per-view.
Exactly.
And have like a huge tournament for those two titles. Separate
One night.
tournaments, of course, but all in one night and one pay-per-view.
Having said that, now if they're going to be
But see, then you got the tag titles and the separate women's titles that you could put on the line on that pay-per-view as separate events.
I'll take the Rumble. If they move that to 2 nights, night 1 can be all women.
Yeah,
2 can be all men.
There
Right.
you go. There you go.
that would work too. That would work too.
Nice. We just came up with an idea, fellas. Who's gonna pitch it to them?
Well, see, I've been around wrestling for a long time. You know, I keep seeing pictures of Crusher from Milwaukee, and it's like, oh, I've met
Oh
that.
wow. Oh
you
wow.
know, and a couple of times. But anyway, I think, and I don't know who's got ownership on it, but this fucking, and that's the other thing that pisses me off. The Rock immediately gets part of TKO and all of this, and all of a sudden he's trademarking this name and trademarking that name and copywriting this name and I think they should put a stop to that, because these wrestlers should be able to use the names that they're well known by wherever they go. Second, I don't know who's got it, and I don't think there should be a trademark on it or not, but they need to come up, that 24-hour title, that was a fucking joke.
Yeah.
It was, and the look of the title wasn't.
If you wanted to, it looked more like a record to me, like an award for like a platinum record. Here's your platinum record. This
Nice.
It looked very much like the original world title that Hulk Hogan won when he won it the first time.
Yeah.
That's what it looked like.
There you go.
The
Yeah.
green strap, you got the red circle.
I think if they wanted to be smart and have something hard to hold on to or whatever, or to get, they should have brought back the TV title with the TV title stipulations.
The 10-minute time limit or whatever.
Yeah, well, the match can go over 10 minutes, but you have to win that. If you're going to win the title, you got to win it within that first 10 minutes of the match.
Yeah.
The only problem with being able to do something like that is just the wrestling alone. They only have like 50 minutes filling in a 3-hour time slot of wrestling. time goes towards all the in-ring promos and the backstage stuff.
Well, they need to cut some of that. That's the other thing. That whole shit where the before WrestleMania and that where the Rock and them people were taking up the first hour of Monday Night Raw, just all with their bullshit talking and promo shit. That's got to stop too.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah, because I come out to a wrestling show, I want to watch wrestling.
Yeah, I want to watch
Yeah.
a lot of wrestling. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they should go back to the old days where this guy's talking to Mean Gene in the back or whatever for like
Yes.
maybe 5 minutes max, bitching about whoever his feud is with that month.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah, especially for ticket prices. I want to see more wrestling than
right?
a
Exactly.
Titantron.
Yeah. I do.
And half the time you can't hear the Titantron at these damn events. At least at Pepsi Center, you can't hear them, so you don't even know what's going on. You just see
Well,
like
Yeah, it's
whoever
like,
Rock.
I
You see
care
Rock, and he's
less.
like,
I want to see this guy beat the shit out of this guy and make an example of him because he pisses me off.
right,
You know? It's enough with the fucking drama, especially on the pay-per-views. When it gets closer to them, those little promos don't have to get longer. You don't have to take over the show and hijack it for an hour just because you're president of TKO.
right. So totally off subject here, Joe. Well, kind of on it. Would you rather see like the matches where they always have like stars against stars, or would you rather go back to where it was like Rock versus this guy from the local 7-Eleven, and you know he's going to kick his ass?
Nah, I'd rather see this. You know, I've always watched it. You know, I know what you're saying. The nobodies.
Yeah,
You know, where they used to just. You know, I those few matches were a joke because they didn't last too long.
right,
You know,
right,
It's like, you know, the bigger guy and the star really didn't have to break a sweat to beat this little no-name.
right. Exactly.
You know.
Yeah, yeah. I just remember those were the matches I started on, and it was like that's like when the rising
Yeah.
up star would beat like whoever
Right.
again, and be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, he's the new guy. He's the new guy. Hot damn!"
Well, these guys were just those no-name pucks or smucks. They were just paid to make that wrestler look good.
Yeah.
And that's
Right. I remember watching somebody named Michael Hickenbottom beat an actual wrestler in AWA, and I was
Other
like,
name, Hickenbottom.
he's gonna be something. Sure enough, he became Shawn Michaels.
Oh, wow. HBK.
I
I didn't realize, I didn't put that together.
Right. That's how I was too. I mean, and then the next week he came out and he was Shawn Michaels. I was like, that's the same dude I just. What the hell?
Well, I remember thinking the same thing of Eddie Guerrero. The first time that I saw him back in '95, I looked at him and the moves that this guy is going to be big. And sure enough, when he made the switch to
Boom.
WWE, oh, he exploded. He was on the rise. In
Well, yeah, and nowadays he's known as the world's greatest intercontinental champion. I think he's number one on that list.
I think so.
As if not who held it the longest, but the who, the top 10 greatest intercontinental champions of all time.
Yeah.
He's on the top of that list by most people.
Prestige matches.
he just
Like,
had this
The lowrider.
doing things of faking people out, lying, cheating, and stealing.
Well, that was all part of his thing, though. His lying and cheating. Lying.
He would slam the chairs on
I
the
love the chair thing.
floor and then toss it to the guy and then fall back.
I
Yeah.
sent you that video a couple of weeks ago.
The
Those
guy,
guys doing it.
that guy would get disqualified.
Yep.
And he was no slouch. He was pretty smart.
It
You
was.
know? I mean, him and Rey Mysterio made a hell of a team for a long time. You know, they were pretty
Yep.
close.
All right, let's get to the pay-per-view since we're all
Okay, yeah, we're getting off track.
sorry. Liv and
Okay.
Becky.
So the first match was Becky Lynch and Liv Morgan. Now I have to say, right before they got done with the pre-show, they showed Becky backstage and she was wearing the suit. I'm thinking, wait a minute, Becky's supposed to be wrestling. Why is she wearing a suit?
That was an odd looking.
It was.
Yeah, it was an odd looking thing, but you got to realize the women have to keep fully covered in Saudi Arabia, for one.
Yeah, but I
And
guess
if you looked at most of those other women, they were wearing their full body vinyl or leather and shit. And if it was like hotter than hell outside, that was an outdoor stadium, if I'm not mistaken. And at one point, even later, they showed it was 90 degrees. That was later towards the end of the night or towards the end of the day, whatever. So it must have been a lot hotter. The material that she had on looked like it could breathe. But I'm thinking, how the hell is she going to wrestle in that?
Yeah, exactly.
okay, the Jeddah Superdome, that is an enclosed.
Okay.
The enclosed. They said that it was 75 degrees in there, but 94,
Outside.
96
But
outside.
still, the wrestlers, again, because last year, if I'm not mistaken, it wasn't last year or the year before, they were out in Saudi Arabia one year for a pay-per-view. And one of the wrestlers passed out after the match or during the match from dehydration.
Yeah.
That wouldn't surprise me.
I swear it was last year, or the year before, or whatever. But they were out. They were in Saudi Arabia for pay-per-view.
Well,
And they took it.
And if I'm not mistaken, it was a woman because they have to keep fully covered.
Yeah.
And
they did a good job with Elimination Chamber this year because they had fans blowing down into the ring.
right.
Because it was wintertime for us, but over there, they're right smack in the middle of summer.
Right, and see. So like I'm saying, they were complaining. I was listening to the announcers, and they were complaining how they were saying that how the wrestlers were complaining, especially the women, how hot it was there.
Yeah. I mean, shit, I wouldn't want to wear that vinyl suit either. But I
Well,
mean,
that's why Becky Lynch, if you notice, like during that match, Becky Lynch's hair was all up like this. Her hair was all up in like a bun or something in the back of her head, to keep her neck open so that she was cooler, so she could be cooler.
absolutely.
I'm actually kind of surprised that she was still wrestling right now because I figured that she would want to take time off to help Seth. But I did hear through the grapevine that her contract is actually up in 2 weeks. And
That's what I heard too.
the speculation is she's going to not re-sign. She's just going to take time off, be with their daughter, be with Seth, and then a few months later down the road, re-sign with them. Just take some time to get off the road.
That makes a lot of sense, and that makes sense why she lost that match.
Yeah, it does. But without that, I was actually kind of thinking that Becky would hold on to the title today. But then after seeing that, it does make sense. And plus, with Liv has been hot lately.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This whole tour thing of hers, she's on a roll.
that revenge tour. Yeah, she sure is been on one hell of a roll.
Yeah.
And I know she's a heel and stuff, but she does make a damn good heel. She kind of reminds me of she would have, this goes back to Bray Wyatt. She would have fit right in with that Bray Wyatt's group back then. The way she's turned such a dark side on that, because you got to realize she must have went to a dark place to the living piss out of Rhea Ripley so that she had to forfeit that title.
Yeah.
Because she couldn't defend it.
And this whole thing now with Dominic and it's really weird. Okay. Because there are little signs here and there where there's something going on between her and Dominic.
The Morgan
Yeah.
and Dominic, yeah. But I don't think he intended for that to happen that way, though. Because he was throwing that chair, it almost seemed like he was throwing it to Becky.
It did seem like that, but I'm waiting on a swerve. Like say Monday, they'll come out together and say, "Ha ha ha, we fooled you," and all.
Yeah, because that's happened before too. Yeah.
I'm waiting on that to happen.
Yeah.
I also read.
That'd be so Dominic. Haha, we played you.
Yeah, supposedly, Liv Morgan is no longer dating Bo Dallas.
Yeah, they're broke up now.
Is that a sure thing?
Yeah, pretty much. It was on her X account, so, or Twitter or whatever. So,
Wow. They were together for some time.
yeah.
Well,
She don't like Uncle Howdy. What can I say? Uncle Howdy wasn't doing it for her anymore.
either way, or maybe he.
Now that he's coming back, that makes
Hold
it
on.
a little awkward for them.
But Jimmy, do you
Hold on.
believe?
Maybe something happened between Bo Dallas and Alexa Bliss.
Yeah, that could be too.
Because Alexa's, or not Alexa Bliss. It's not Alexa Bliss. I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's Nikki Cross that's coming with them.
Oh.
Well,
Hmm.
she's married too.
Oh, is she?
Yeah, she's married to.
God, who is it?
It's hard to keep track of all of them that are married. I mean, every time I see what's his name, I keep thinking, I remember who his wife is, and it's like, I wonder why she's not around. Oh, that's right. She's over there in AEW.
Killian
Killian
Dane.
Dane. I just found it. Had to look it up. Killian Dane.
Oh, yeah, he was with Eric Young, Sanity.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Anyway, Nikki Cross is the one that's coming with the Bray Wyatt family.
She's the one that would fit in much better than Liv would.
Well, yeah, I mean, I really loved her more when she first appeared on WWE, and she used to do that Nikki Wanna Play, and the way she was kind of like escaped from an insane asylum.
Yeah.
I really loved that side of Nikki Cross.
Yes.
And then somewhere along the line, it's like, oh my God, what the fuck?
Became this almost superhero.
Yeah, that and it's like, come on, Nikki, let's hear it. Nikki Wanna Play. I mean, I love that side of her.
But almost a superhero was her idea, though.
I know, but it didn't work very well.
It didn't work.
It didn't work
I think
for
they
me.
moved it too quick.
I wonder if they did that so that they could be able to do something with her and Molly Holly, because
Oh yeah, Molly Holly used to do that kind of thing too,
Yeah,
like Cape and all of that.
the Rumble and those two went at it.
Yeah,
Before Molly even got into it.
Yep, exactly. Exactly. With the hurricane and shit and superhero in training.
But all told, I am glad that Liv Morgan does have the title because she has more than earned it. Last year, she spent over an hour in the Rumble.
Yeah, she did.
And she has just been on a tear, not just here in these
I
last
just think I don't.
years.
I think it was kind of crappy the way she went about getting here, but I don't know if it was scripted that way or if she really, we don't know if it was a real injury or if it was scripted that way so that Rhea could get much needed surgery, because they do that.
From what it was said, the actual injury was a freak accident from that backstage brawl.
No. But
it was an accident.
That whole thing, it really took her character, being her revenge tour, took her to like a whole new level of like a real dark side of her.
It did.
really haven't seen before. And
This way, Liv ended that long reign of Rhea Ripley. She is also the only person to pin or submit Ronda Rousey twice.
yeah, so
Liv Morgan, of all people, not Becky Lynch, not Charlotte Flair.
now we got to see what she's going to do with it from here.
Yeah, that's what I'm curious about.
Well, I'm,
Her title reigns seem kind of blah to me. Getting there was always awesome, but
Becky Lynch unfortunately makes some poor choices. I'm sorry, but she's always been my favorite ever since she appeared.
fair.
Okay, and I was really hoping for her to retain.
I was too, actually.
I was really disappointed when she lost the title, but again, it was pretty hot there for them women that aren't used to wrestling in full body attire like that.
You could see it on Liv a lot.
And I wasn't surprised either because, like Jeremy said, you know, her contract was up. I knew about that in the back of my mind too. But you know, with Seth being injured and recovering from all of that, and who knows if he's going to go in for back surgery yet or not.
he really should.
He's going to want to. She's going to want to be home with him, spending time with him, enjoying life, and taking a little break from it all.
Yep.
She's accomplished a lot. I mean, she was the first one to hold both women's titles. Becky, 2 belts.
Yep.
You know, I mean, like I said, I'm a big fan of Becky's. Unfortunately, she married Seth Rollins. You know, that wasn't her smartest decision in my eyes, but
yeah, she should have married Joe. Everyone knows that.
Yeah. But you know,
But
I'm just not a Seth Rollins fan, is because he broke up one of my favorite factions.
Shield.
Yeah, he broke up the Shield. He was the cause of it.
Those guys, they were just not ready. Roman certainly did not want to do that, and he did not want to be the good guy either. He wanted to stay a bad guy.
Well, I also knew Roman was out of those 3. I was saying he was always the glue that held them together.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because Dean and Seth always were the ones that were fighting amongst each other during their Shield days. But I knew he was destined for greatness. But I was kind of shocked that Seth actually went and became face of Raw like he did too. You know, but he's got.
Everybody was expecting.
But the main reason I don't like him is because of how often he fucking braids Becky's closet when he shows up.
I love that.
Well, I'm not the only one that said it.
No.
I've heard the commentators say it thousands of times.
I know, and I love it every time I hear it because that's what it looks like when you think about it.
I know. Becky has said more than one time that she's jealous of the stuff that he gets to wear.
I love that one.
I remember his WrestleMania outfit. I don't know if it was this year or last year, but there was a video clip where she was looking at him right before he was getting ready to go out. So I need to be wearing that.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yep.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, I'm very curious to see now what's going to happen with Liv and Dominic. It's starting to heat up now.
And who they picked to challenge Liv now. I mean, obviously we got that dumb rematch thing she said at the end, but
we are definitely on the way to the whole, if it's not already, Judgment Day being over with.
Yeah.
Soon.
We'll see.
So the
Yeah.
rematch clause thing, I got to throw that in there real quick. When did that become a thing again?
I don't know.
It should have never not been a thing, though.
Well, I agree with that, but once they made it not a thing, now it's just random.
Well, we've got new management now in control. Vince isn't no longer in control. I mean, you got to realize a lot of these wrestlers are going to be a lot happier.
Well, yeah, I know. I'm talking from the storyline.
Especially the women. I mean, we saw tonight after I'm getting a little ahead, but you know, at where Nia was hugging Triple H there, I
Yeah,
wouldn't be surprised if she was tearing up a bit.
Oh, she,
probably.
So you saw a whole different side of Nia for a brief moment there.
I'm finally getting pushed.
You know, but that's because they're getting treated much, much better than under the regime of Vince McMahon Jr.
Absolutely, absolutely.
well, that's because Vince was, even though a lot of them said that at the time Vince was one of the boys back in the 80s and 90s, he really wasn't, because he wasn't a wrestler like they were.
He was the boss.
Triple
Yeah.
H was.
Well, and I always thought that whole thing about him, that really, the other thing that pissed me off, I know it was funny and people got a kick out of it, but when he'd sit there and it's either your job or you kiss my ass. And he literally pulled down his pants in the middle of the ring, and I don't know how many wrestlers he made kiss his ass. I thought that was, I'm like, I would have just fucking decked him and said, fuck you.
I would have kicked him in the nuts from behind.
Really? I mean, you know, that kind of treatment and stuff like that. Think about what he was like behind the scenes if he was going to humiliate you that badly on camera.
Right.
You know, because those wrestlers that had to go through that, you know, and he was serious. Kiss my ass or your job. I felt bad for all of them, even if I didn't like them.
I know there was quite a few of them.
And
Yeah.
you know, the way Vince McMahon was, and I don't think a lot of it was him playing so much. I think a lot of it was, you know, when he did that.
Yep.
I really started hating him more and more over the years, and I felt that he couldn't get any fresh ideas and stuff like that, so he kept rehashing shit. They could have. You know, they could have done something so that Owen Hart didn't die. You know, I mean, making him fly down that ceiling and stuff like that, down that zip cord to the ring, and not, you know, all about the money and the ratings.
Yep.
You know,
Absolutely.
a lot of that stuff, the Montreal screw job, you know, he could have let Bret Hart. I mean, Bret Hart made the company so much money. He could have let Bret Hart retire with the belt. Nope, 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 nope. That's against everything.
But after what happened with Medusa the year before, he was not about to take that chance again.
And then you got, and bring him, what's her name? Oh, God, did I see a thing about her the other day? Not Medusa, Moolah.
Oh, yeah.
Woo! Talk about an evil woman there.
Yep.
I didn't know anything about her until all this backlash when they named that battle royal after her for the WrestleMania, and then they never did the battle royal for women since.
I tend to watch something that's called Dark Side of the Ring.
That's so good.
You know, and they did a whole thing on Moolah, and oh my God, I couldn't believe some of the things that those women went through.
Yeah, I know. Have you ever watched those, Jeremy?
No, I have not.
They're good watches.
Well, I know that there was a couple full episodes on YouTube. One was about the Sandman.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
I watched Brody. Brody was the first one I watched since I've actually met him, and then.
Brody is
kinda went from
one
the-
that I would definitely like to watch because that I had heard so much about him, and it makes me wonder why did they not bring him to the WWF, because he could have been the perfect.
Because he was on his own. You tell him you're going to go lose to Hulk Hogan, he'd be like, "Fuck no, I'm not. We'll draw, we'll do something, but I'm not going to lose to him."
Yeah.
He was his own man, so it's kind of hard to explain, but
But
Yeah, well,
that would
Hogan,
have been quite the attraction because everybody knew Bruiser.
yeah, he was
Yeah.
very smart too, very
well, after
smart.
watching one of all that stuff I see on Vice about wrestling and stuff like that, I lost a lot of respect for Hogan.
Yeah,
really-
yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Yeah.
good stories flying out there about him.
But anyway, so
Anyway.
Vice lost that match, unfortunately.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next match, the triple threat match for the Intercontinental title.
I wanted Bronson to win, even though I know he wasn't going to. I'll be honest.
I was fully expecting Sammy to win.
He was a good. I like him for a big guy. I mean, Bronson can fucking move
Yeah.
for a big guy.
Moonsault.
Yeah, I know. He can move. Like I'd say, for a big guy, he's got some moves. That guy is no slouch when it comes to being a big guy.
And then Chad Gable,
That German super.
him while he was holding on to Sammy.
Yeah,
Oh, the-
that match
flip.
was something else to watch.
It was.
You know, I'm not a big Chad Gable fan because everything he's done and does is robbed from Kurt Angle. Because it's everything Kurt Angle did years prior. You know, from the ankle lock to the, you know, the whole chants and now the fans, you know, saying you suck. They did that to Angle back in the day.
Yeah, oh man, that was real loud today when he came out. But I honestly don't remember him coming out to the "You Suck" chant before.
I think it just started. I hadn't heard it before either, but I've missed the last couple wrestling things.
Well, I'm
So I
okay.
think it's just started.
I'm okay with him having the "You Suck" chant. I just can't stand that shoes thing he does all the time.
Sure.
Yeah, well, that's all from Kurt Angle.
That it was.
Yeah, all that stuff was robbed from Kurt Angle. He can't develop his own character. He stole from the person that trained him. And it pisses me off every time I see the little bastard. He can't get his own identity. He's got to steal somebody else's little identity. I didn't want to see him win because he got his chance and he failed.
And I agree with that too.
You know, so he shouldn't have even been in this triple threat match to begin with.
No.
I think it works out well because with him chasing the IC title is also tied in very heavily with how he is abusing the members of his academy.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
I can't wait to the day that Otis snaps on him.
I thought he was going to do that today.
Yeah, I thought so too, because Otis,
close.
I remember when Otis was part of that, what were they called? Heavy Machinery?
The machine with Tucker.
Stakes and weights.
Right.
Stakes and weights.
Ever since then, he needed some guidance. He wasn't a fully developed wrestler yet. Okay. But when he got that guidance from Chad Gable, I'll give Chad Gable this much credit. He did really help Otis's wrestling skills. But now he's holding Otis back because Otis could be one hell of a wrestler on his own.
Right.
Otis did have a nice run right before he joined the academy when he was doing that whole
Right.
Mandy Rose.
Yeah.
And Mandy Rose was disappointed that there was never a big payoff for that one.
Yeah,
Right.
I hope that that when he leaves, because it's going to come, it's coming because you can only push that big man so much.
Oh yeah, well, him and also the way that he's been treating Maxine
Yeah,
as well.
Yeah.
that's what I was going to say.
Yeah,
I think Maxine and Otis should just part ways with him and all that. Otis and Maxine go on their own, and I could see Otis going a long way with her in his corner.
Yep.
well, they'll also take Tozawa with them too.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sure. And Tozawa's, he's kind of a joke, but he's got some skills if he can stay focused.
He does.
Yeah.
They just
You know,
don't utilize him well.
no, they don't. It's not his fault. It's WWE's fault.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. And Otis started his training in Colorado, so I always kind of have a soft spot for him.
Well, I liked him. I thought
Yeah.
I thought he would. I didn't like his partner back when he was in Heavy Machinery so much. I mean, yeah, he was a better partner than Chad Gable because he treated Otis. He
When-
treated
when you-
Otis
when you-
better, but
The two, when you looked at the two, I always thought that Tucker would be the one to be the breakout star.
I did too.
And now he's gone, and we got
Yeah.
Otis. But okay, Otis is a big boy. He don't move like it though. Sometimes.
no, he don't. And see his whole character about being that sweet, nice gentleman type guy. That is probably his real persona, and with that, I'm guessing there's morals, and that's why he couldn't do what Chad Gable was asking today.
I did read some articles about him. He actually is a shy person in real life.
Yeah.
Well, I can see that. Think about it. If you were that much of a big boy when you were a kid in school, think about the teasing and stuff you got.
Actually, I don't think he was a big boy because I remember seeing a picture of him in his early years.
Either way, I like him. I just
Yeah.
don't. I feel bad for him because Chad Gable's holding him back. He could be something. I mean, there was a lot of famous big guys. Look at Bam Bam Bigelow, King Kong Bundy. Andre. I mean, obviously Andre's a weird exception, but
Vader.
Vader. Yeah, Vader's another good example. I forgot about Big Bad Vader. And these guys are genuinely nice because if you met Vader, he was actually a really nice guy to meet.
Mhm.
Yeah, he was. Earthquake was also a very, very good person. to be-
Gentle Giants.
Yep.
And he moved faster than any of those guys that I've ever seen.
Especially for his size.
Yeah.
Big
Yoko,
boss man.
Boss Man, Yoko, everybody loved him.
Yeah, that still floors me.
Yeah.
Yokozuna. The whole time, I thought he was really from Japan and all of that.
Same.
I really did. Mr.
Had me the whole
Fuji and
time.
everything. They sure did play that right because of Yoko's size. I get it. I understand it. But that was like the perfect character. And he
Yeah.
played it so well. Yoko played it so well.
I
You
think
know.
people of Japan believed it.
I think everybody believed it. They had you believing that he couldn't even speak English.
Yeah.
And that son of a bitch was fluent in English the whole fucking time.
Yep.
Well, that was his main language.
Right. So, I mean, when he'd sit there and whisper to Fuji, it was probably, I mean, he probably could, I bet he didn't even speak a word of Japanese.
Probably. But here's the thing. In 92, I remember seeing this video when the Head Shrinkers made their debut in like August or September of 92. Vince was doing the commentating. I think it was Vince. It might have been one of the two. And they mentioned that they had a third on his way, a third family member, a big boy, and he was on his way. So they were thinking of introducing him as part of the Samoan family. And then at some point after that, I think it was Pat Patterson that came up with the idea of, hey, he looks like he could be Japanese. Let's make him a Japanese sumo wrestler.
Right. Yeah, it was something along those lines because at the time they were also thinking, yeah, we right now we've got too many Samoans. We need something, we need another, hook on this angle.
It
Yeah.
says he did one untelevised match
They
as
couldn't
a Samoan,
they
and then he
could
went to Yokozuna.
they couldn't pick a perfect person for that, a more perfect person for that. I mean, Rikishi probably could have pulled it off, but by the time Rikishi came in, they already knew he was part of the Samoan legacy because he didn't have the looks like Yokozuna with the lighter skin. I mean, you looked at Rikishi, he had that darker skin look, even with the blonde hair.
Well,
Yep.
it's also his facial features too.
Well, yeah, that too. He looked a lot like his,
He looked a lot like a Japanese person.
yeah. Yeah, it didn't take much and boy, did it pay off big.
It did.
But I'll never
Amazing.
forget the time I was sitting in the audience because I used to go to wrestling matches a lot. All right, and I can't remember when it was, but it was one of those ones that got televised on Raw or something, and they were like taped ahead of time or some shit. He broke his leg during the match or some shit. Yokozuna did.
His leg?
His leg or his ankle or his knee or something during the match. All right. And in order to take him out of the ring, they brought in a forklift with a pallet on it. He rolled out of the ring onto the pallet. Okay. And when they started moving, and I shit you not, that thing was off. It was coming off a little bit in the rear end of that thing. And that goes to show you how much that son of a bitch really weighed. I mean, the forklift didn't have an easy time taking him back to the ambulance, wherever they had to go.
I think that was more towards the end of his career because
Well, yeah, it was really towards the end of his career.
Yeah, I do remember hearing something about that.
And then I think that night it was Undertaker was there that night too, and I remember this because I was in the audience, so I wasn't working that night. Okay, the security guy comes up to me because I was sitting real close to that area where they walk in from the back to the ring, so I was sitting real close to that edge, and security guard knew who I was, and he comes up to me and he's like, yeah. Undertaker just asked me where some good punk rock bars were. Do you know of any? And I said, do I look like I listen to punk rock? And it's like, yeah, okay. And I think it was the same night that a couple of wrestlers also got, they ended up at, God damn it, I can't remember. It was a bar inside of the Crown Royal Hotel or whatever it's called. But there's a bar. It's like kind of an upper class type bar. You get guys, women coming in there with a big thing of roses, selling them so you can give them to your girlfriend and stuff. And apparently they got arrested. A few wrestlers got arrested that night for a bar fight.
Well, there were quite a few of them that got into it.
Well, yeah, I think that was. Well, them staying at hotels and wanting, if they didn't get the answer they were looking for, they might have just stayed at the hotel bar. I can't remember who they all were, but I do remember one of them was Diesel, Kevin Nash, that night. Right all over the local news. It was funny as hell.
Oof.
Okay, Chris just sent me something about the Yokozuna leg break. It was after WrestleMania 12. Vader jumped on Yoko's leg on the April 8th episode of Raw, breaking it. The splash was shown on TV as a leg break, but in reality, it was performed to allow Yokozuna to take some time off to lose weight. However, instead of a stretcher, a real forklift had to be brought in to carry him out, as it was the only way to move a man of his size.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, so he didn't really break his leg then.
But he had to lose some weight.
Well, yeah, that's got to be stressful on the heart.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Well,
I mean, he was a big man.
I did that with my weight. I mean,
yeah, and the sad thing is, when he came back, he was actually heavier.
yeah.
No, yeah,
He
we all
probably had one of those thyroid glands that were out of control or some shit. So he probably had no control over it.
It's possible. I don't know if it was ever determined or not.
I don't know. I've seen all kinds of dark sides, but I have yet to see one on Yokozuna.
I know.
I wonder if they ever would make one on him.
I think there is one because I saw it once, and then I remember setting a reminder for it, and I think I had to leave or something, or I wasn't here that day.
Okay. So Sami Zayn, he came out to a huge pop.
Very.
Yeah, he is massively popular out there in Saudi Arabia, which
Well, I know why. He's Arabic. His parents
not Arabic. He's
yeah, it said it was when I looked it up, because I looked it up why he felt like he was at home or something like that when he's from Canada.
He's Syrian.
Yeah, anyway, yeah, his parents are left Syria to go live in Canada, and he was born and raised in Canada and Mexico.
Yeah. And being that he's the one who ended such a long reign, I don't think it would be right for him to have a short reign. So I expect him to have a
Well,
decent run.
After all that Sami Zayn's been through his career, he deserves a long reign
He
with
does.
with that belt.
He does.
He
And
does.
eventually he deserves a world title run too.
Yeah, but he deserves to go down in the books as one of the greatest intercontinental champions. In order for that to happen, he needs to have some, more great matches defending that title.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to take some time.
Well, so far he's doing a pretty damn good job at it.
I mean, I remember when he came over for the first time, and it's like, God, I didn't like him. I thought he was one of those wrestlers that grew on me as he became a better wrestler himself.
Yeah.
The characters and the stuff that he went through to get to where he is today, it's amazing he hung in there so long.
I
is.
like that conspiracy theory character that he did. I like that one. Because I
that
know
was real fun to watch.
I know so many people that are like that in the way that he did it. It was so funny. What I especially liked, I don't know if this was just an off-the-cuff thing that he did or if they approved it in the back when he actually mentioned AEW on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
I don't know how that came about, but I gotta give Sami credit. Yeah, he's come a long way, and yeah, he's kind of grown on me. I was glad that he was able to hang on to his title.
Well, his work with the Bloodline really shot him up.
Yeah.
My favorite line from that whole thing was when he said the Usi comment.
Yeah,
That just got me.
That stuck for quite a while. That really did.
Oh
I
man,
think that really gave him a boost of confidence once that stuck with the crowd too.
I think when Roman comes back all pissed off, Sammy ought to pop up and say, "Are you not feeling oozy today?" Just to
That was fucking funny.
everyone would crack. They would have to.
well, Roman and Jay were laughing on that night. They were trying,
Right?
especially Jay. He kept doing this.
I know. That's my moment of the year, I think, honestly, just because it was so funny.
Oh shit! Moment of the decade.
Yeah, there you go. I'll give you that.
They are going to be so hard pressed to try to top that moment.
Oh, yeah,
Yep.
they are.
Yeah, I'm glad that Sammy did. Did
I'm glad
win,
he won.
but
Yeah, I'm glad Sammy did.
I do expect to see Chad eventually get a title run of some sort. But
Well,
before he does that, I want to see Chad and Otis one-on-one at SummerSlam.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Otis get his vengeance for all the.
Well, I still think, if Chad goes for any title, I think Chad needs to leave Sammy alone because he needs that reign for a while.
Yeah.
If not a heavyweight title, let him take away that title from Logan Paul.
There you go.
Well, good luck seeing
Table and start the feud with. But I still think there might be a feud there for that Intercontinental title because you know how Chad Gable's been, kind of so selfish, Oh, I almost had you by this much, I did, and then it came a three-way match, triple threat match. All right. Now it's like I almost had your triple threat match. I could see him now whining about it. I deserve a one-on-one shot.
You didn't pin me. You pinned Bronson.
Right.
Look at the way that he stared a hole through Otis while Sammy was celebrating and the camera panned back and you could see everything. They were standing right there ringside, Otis with his head down and Chad was bearing over him. Yeah, that is going to be a match.
Oh yeah, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And I can't wait for it to happen because I want to see Otis break away from that little SOB.
For sure.
What I wouldn't mind seeing is since Chad has already turned, the Creed brothers have teased a turn. I don't know if they made the turn yet. I'd like to see Chad and the Creed brothers get together, and then Otis, Tozawa pick up one more person, and they do a 3-on-3 match at some point.
Right. I've heard that about the Creed brothers joining him. I read that somewhere the other day.
Yeah, it's suspected. I don't know.
But we have to get Otis out of that picture somehow first.
Yeah.
Myself, personally, I'm not ever going to like Gable because whether he's been a heel or a baby face, he's always been a whiny little bitch in my eyes.
I like them with Jason Jordan a lot. I like them as a tag team.
They were a good team. It's a shame what happened to Jason, though.
Yeah.
He had so many years left.
Yeah.
If he had not have gotten hurt.
Yeah.
That was Kurt Angle's son, so.
That's part of the industry, though. That's what happens.
But he is a very successful producer backstage. And I forget what match it was, but it was supposed to have been one of the best matches on pay-per-view. I forget which one it was, and it was revealed that he was the one that produced that.
Wow.
So he got a lot of praise.
Yep.
So I fully expect to see him basically taking over Michael Hayes' position when he finally retires.
Purely sexy himself.
Yeah, he'll be like the main producer.
God, I miss those guys.
Yep.
I miss the Fabulous Freebirds. I liked them back in the day.
Stab Street in the USA.
Well, one thing I never saw, and I wish I would have seen it, and I don't think it ever happened, but I would have loved to see the two Garvin brothers get together.
Yeah.
Jimmy and Ron Garvin.
Yeah.
And
No, that is actually stepfather.
well, whatever.
Yeah.
Either way, I would have liked to see them get together in a tag match where they would, because boy, the two of them would have been dangerous together.
Yeah.
I know.
I like Ron Garvin too, but
I don't really remember seeing Jimmy wrestle much. But
Jimmy Garvin was part of the Fabulous Freebirds at one point.
Right. And I remember seeing Michael Hayes wrestle a lot, but I don't remember Jimmy. But I do remember seeing Ron Garvin wrestle.
Well, Ron Garvin was a legend. He was actually called the Fists of Stone because he actually did have a knockout punch where he didn't have like the titanium or shit like some of these fuckers got. Well,
into that one later.
Yeah, that was in a few minutes.
That's I mean, that guy was pretty impressive for I mean, he wasn't a very big wrestler either, Ronnie Garvin was. He wasn't very tall, he wasn't very big, he was kind of like his stature reminded me of Dean Malenko and Chris Benoit and those guys. They weren't too tall, but they were built like brick shit houses.
Yeah, Ron Garvin, 5'10".
Yeah, like I said, they didn't even hit the 6 foot mark. Some of them, but they were built like brick shit houses.
Yeah. Okay, let's move. We've been on an hour and a half, and we've only covered 2 matches.
Oh well, shit.
3. Well, 2.5.
Well, 3 if you count the pre-show.
Yeah. That's I was like 3, and then the first one was a pre-show.
Well, I didn't even count that as a pre-show, but anyway.
So the next match is the Queen of the Ring final. Nia Jax, Lyra Valkyria.
I liked her. I loved
her
entrance. I really liked her entrance.
That was badass. I love that.
That was badass.
Michael Cole was even explaining the whole Raven thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That made it even better.
Yeah, it did. It did. I agree.
It was cool before that, but then when he said it, I was like, that's badass. Okay, now I understand.
So already she just came onto the scene a month ago on Raw.
Right.
And already she's in the finals of Queen of the Ring. So that tells me right
she
there.
Was pretty impressive.
Solid behind her this quick.
Yeah. But I got to admit, she made the mistake, like I said many times over. I said it at the top of this hour, or last hour, who knows. But she made those mistakes when you're wrestling a bigger person. She tried. Look how many times she tried to lift Nia, or and when you do that, you got to make sure Nia's momentum can be used against her. She did that a couple of times successfully, but when she tried, it's like, this isn't going to go good.
Like even the power bomb thing where Nia ended up squashing her. It's like you ain't gonna get her over.
Oh man, that was talking about the finish.
Yeah, the finish.
Yeah, I knew she wasn't going to get out of that.
Yeah, nobody.
I felt bad for her. I really did. She gave it her best effort. I got to give her credit. I really liked her effort and her performance.
Yeah,
she's going to be somebody to watch.
What I found funny was when she tried to do the kick through the ropes, like jumping through the rope, feet first instead of head first, and Nia caught her.
Yeah.
Look on her face like,
That's a good facial right there. That's good ring psychology.
It was.
I think she actually might have got tweaked her ankle or knee something for real too when she
I noticed that too. Michael actually brought that up right when that happened.
Yeah. So
But-
that don't help somebody who's a bit of a high flyer to.
But still, after all, again, another one of those that's been through a lot of shit to get where she's at.
Yeah. I do
Both-
like her. a-
Both in the ring and behind the scenes, Nia Jax deserved the win.
She did.
I may not like her right now because of how much of a bitch she's portraying. Because we all know it's acting.
Well, that's the point. They're not supposed to like her.
TKO pushing that cousin.
But knowing what I know about Nia Jax, okay, and the stuff I've learned over the years, she did have a really bad issue with self-esteem and self-confidence and stuff like this. And this was back in the day when The Rock was still a regular part of the show. So she ended up going to him a lot for advice. And he had a really hard time coping with a lot of it for a long time. And she actually deserves this point. She gets so close and then she doesn't get the title. She gets so close and she loses,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's about time she wins something and it boosts her self-esteem and her self-confidence. And
Well, not only did she become Queen of the Ring this year, but she also headlined a pay-per-view in
right.
Chamber, and that they did really, really good on that one too.
Right. And now winning the Queen of the Ring, she gets to go on for the
SmackDown.
Yeah, whatever belt so who's got the SmackDown Women's title?
Bailey.
Oh shit, I feel sorry for Bailey.
Right. Poor Bailey.
Freight train's coming your way. But Nia's had that difficulty about and my wife keeps saying it. I don't notice it much, but women will notice that more about other women, that when they lose weight, and that's been difficulty for her. But, that's why her self-confidence and that, she was always having these conversations with The Rock backstage.
Right.
She's been losing weight because if my wife notices it, then she's losing weight. I tend to believe my wife. I'm not gonna argue with her on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, I've noticed it too.
Yeah.
But that's really got to boost her confidence a little bit. And then you got the change in the regime, and then Triple H sitting there believing in her. We saw it all. There was a moment there in the ring with her and Hunter Hearst Helmsley, Triple H, when he brought the crown out to her. So I think she really truly deserves it.
She does. There's one thing about that I don't agree with, and that was the crown, in that she knelt down for him to crown her. For that, they should have had some kind of a throne up there on the main stage, and have them sit down. Here's your throne. Here's your scepter. Or maybe not even the scepter.
Yeah, like they did. Yeah, I know they gotta work on their. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, so I didn't think it was really right, because now she's the queen. The queen doesn't bow or kneel. They're not supposed to.
But that's how to put the crown on their head, though.
Yeah.
Queens, kings, that's just what they do.
Well, Gunther didn't do the same thing.
No, Gunther's a
crown himself.
Gunther.
Well, Gunther's the giant badass man killer, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in a class by himself.
But with Nia, I don't know if that was necessarily her choice or what, but I don't think she should have gone down like that.
I don't know.
That's
I don't
fair.
know. We don't know whose choice it was, but either way, like I said, she deserved it.
Yeah,
Right.
she should have had a throne to sit on.
Right. Yeah, they could have easily, had a throne sitting off somewheres on a stage and had her walk up to it with a little red carpet and stuff and had the crown there with the scepter and the robe. They left out the scepter and the robe. I mean, that's been a tradition of the King of the Ring for years.
Ever.
Yeah, forever.
Harley Race, basically.
Yeah, and some of them have put their own. I mean, let's go back. Corbin, remember Corbin and his crown? It was like one that was like after it got crushed so many times, he went out and got one, and it was like made out of rubber.
Yes.
I remember one of the guys that had the crown. It looked a lot like the Burger King crown.
Right. They've all went, and after a while, you see them coming out with it again, and it's their own design.
Mhm.
Yep. Booker T. King
Yep.
Booker.
And they've
Oh,
all got
Booker.
their own.
So-
He took that to the max.
And then Owen. Oh my God, what Owen did?
The Nugget.
No, he says, now
I,
I will be formally known as the King of Hearts.
That's right. That's right.
yeah.
And he had Natalia's dad, Jim Neihart, there to coordinate him as part of the coordination. Now that he took that to a whole new level, and that also got him out of his brother's shadow.
It did.
When he won that King of the Ring. So everybody that won the King of the Ring has gone on to career greatness.
Not
Well, almost everyone.
There was a few flops like Mabel the following year.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Mabel.
Mabel didn't work very well. Billy Gunn didn't work out very well. I did when I was doing research on King of the Ring. I actually forgot that Ken Shamrock won.
Yeah, but some of them didn't. Yeah, but some of them didn't do like the ones that won. I mean, Owen sits there and I'm now known as the King of Hearts. Booker's like, I'm now known as King Booker, and then all of a sudden here comes Charmel, the first lady, and all of this with him, the queen, or as he called her at the time, and I mean, come on, they took the title to a level, and the ones that didn't, well, that's what happens if you don't.
One person I'm really glad won King of the Ring tournament was William Regal.
Yeah.
I am really glad that he won that one. And also, I'm glad that Xavier Woods won it.
Yeah, but see, they all took that to another level. They played it.
They did, but
even Savage, Macho King.
Yep.
Man, yeah, Macho King. Well, that when Macho became the king, he didn't actually win the tournament. He won the tournament in '87, but when he became Macho King, that was when
he won the crown. I know.
Yeah, that was just a weird thing that they were doing. But I was glad to see Xavier Woods won because he wanted that more than anything else. He didn't care about the world title. He didn't care about winning the Rumble. He wanted King of the Ring.
Well, yeah, it meant something back then.
Yes. And I'm hoping that they are bringing it back so that it can mean something again.
So Gunther going to get a crown? I mean, like a cape and a scepter and come out like that now?
It's up to the person to do that. They got to figure out how to. I mean, look you had Booker doing his own thing, and it worked for him. It pole vaulted his career as a singles because all those years he was known as one half of Harlem Heat. He wins King of the Ring, and all of a sudden you got King Booker and Queen Charmel.
With the accent.
There was
With
no
the
King
accent.
of the Ring, but he,
Yep.
But
Booker took that to a whole new level there that year. And then somebody else, Savage goes and does what he does, with Scary Sherry in his corner. After he wins the crown, not the King of the Ring, the crown.
Yeah.
He starts going around as Macho King, and at the time, Scary Sherry was his manager.
But the most iconic King of the Ring was undoubtedly when Steve Austin won.
Oh yeah.
And his little proclamation after that. Because he said he thought that up right before he said it. That he was thinking about what he was going to say when he walked from the ring to the thing where Michael Hayes was at. And Austin 316 came up in his mind during that little walk. And nobody could have expected it to be the way that one did.
And it just skyrocketed his career as well. That because he came out and he's like Austin 316,
Yeah.
And it took on like fucking wildfire.
It did. And that happened before NWO actually happened. Oh, my screen just flickered.
Ghost, it's no big deal.
I mean, it's amazing what this how important the King of the Ring was, and is to people's careers. Or can be if they use it right.
Yeah, I was so disappointed that they did away with it, and then they just started doing it every few years.
Yeah,
that was a staple. How do you get rid of that?
I think I got a feeling it's going to be an every year thing now. I mean, we're under new management, new regime, and this is the first time too in King of the Ring history where the winner is guaranteed a title shot now.
Actually, no, that was done in
one other time. I heard him say the other day.
Well, one other time? Was there one other time? Yeah,
it was either when Edge got it or Brock Lesnar got it. I think it was Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, but now if they keep doing it that way, it might make it.
Yeah, but it's not the first time where the King of the Ring
got
the title shot at SummerSlam, even though it wasn't like an automatic thing. Because Owen Hart got it, Mabel got it.
But right, it should be an ongoing thing from now on.
Right, it should be an ongoing thing from now on.
I have always felt like, okay, Rumble winner, title shot at Mania. King of the Ring winner, title shot at SummerSlam. And then you have Money in the Bank where you got the whole year to do that.
Well, yeah, because the contract's in the briefcase.
Yeah.
And that's for any title. It's not just the heavyweight titles.
Right.
They can use it for Intercontinental title. They can use it for a tag title.
Oh, shit, I'm going after the world title.
Well, I mean, think about it. All right. I don't know why you'd want to go after it if you had to win it single-handedly in the first place to go after the tag titles. All right. That don't make sense to me. But I can understand it being for the Intercontinental or U.S. title because, say, I'm a wrestler and I won that. Well, I've already held both heavyweight titles. I held the Intercontinental title. Now it's a chance for me to get that U.S. title and put that on.
Slam. Or whatever they're calling it now, Grand Slam champion or whatever they're calling it now.
But still, that's the some of those wrestlers want that title. I mean, that's why. I know the match is yet to come, but Cody really wanted it title versus title. Because if he would have got his hands on that U.S. title tonight, he would have been a Grand Slam champion.
Yo.
It was said several times.
Okay, guys, we're gonna need to hurry this up because
what do we got left?
Is getting unstable. My screen keeps flickering on me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we got Randy and
Randy
and
Gunther.
Gunther, there you go.
That was a hell of a match.
Yep.
Halfway through that match, I started noticing the hamburger look on Randy's.
From the, yeah, but he was robbed.
Yep.
He
Steven
was.
Joe knows.
I saw it. I saw it. I saw it.
Triple H addressed that.
Well, I'm sure he tried to.
No, he did. Byron Saxton did a little interview with him after the thing.
No,
And
what did it say?
Let me go and read exactly what he
Are we talking the same thing where we all saw the one shoulder of Randy's up?
Here's what Triple H said. He said, still live, I was out there from my vantage point. It was difficult to see. I was in the ring, handed the crown to Gunther. Very happy for him. Incredible night. What a performance they put on. Coming back here and seeing it back, I saw exactly what you saw. I saw what everybody saw. I saw what everybody's talking about. It didn't really seem controversial to me. It just seemed like Randy's shoulder wasn't down. But I'm going to say this. The referee's decision is final. Gunther is your king of the ring. That being said, especially after what I saw tonight, I certainly want to see that again. I think Randy Orton deserves to have another shot at that. And I think if I know anything about Gunther, he will want to have another shot at the controversy to take off the asterisk from the page where it says King of the Ring for him. And I think he will want to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that he is better than Randy Orton. So I think, having seen Randy back here, he's pretty banged up, both his knee and his back. I think it's going to be a moment or two before he's ready to step back into the ring with Gunther. But when he is, let's go.
No, we'll wait and see what happens.
I am going to say Gunther and Randy at Money in the Bank.
Is that the next one?
No, the next one is Clash at the Castle.
Yeah, but are they going to put that crown on the line?
He should.
He could.
Well, we got to see what happens there. I mean, I understand it from the ref's point of view. He didn't see it, so I get that. So the refs. You've never been a ref in the center of the ring, you know. With everything going on, it's kind of hard to watch everything. Okay, so let's give him the benefit of the doubt here.
Okay, I'll let you finish.
You know, I mean, he went 1, 2, 3, and it's over with. So the ref's word is final. I mean, there was no real interference or anything. It's just that
I agree. Just a wonky ending.
It looked like Randy's shoulder wasn't down. That's all I'm saying. And I hope they settle this. I mean, I was willing to accept it that way and say that Randy got robbed. But, you know, because how many times has a wrestler got robbed because of that before?
Right. Well, and like I told Jeremy, sorry, Joe, I didn't mean to interrupt, but maybe Randy was legit hurt and said, hey, let's just get this done, too. And so, whatever, just count 3. So I'm kind of trying to look at it that way or something and hope.
Well, we'll have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
If he really is banged up, I would say let him take these next few weeks off. Don't do anything at Clash Castle.
Get that knee healed. His back still seems like it's bothering him, but I think that's going to bother him for the rest of his career.
That's going to be lifetime until he chooses to retire and get that surgery.
But that knee has to be taken care of. He's got to heal that knee before he has another match with Gunther.
Yeah. So take 6 weeks off, then go at it with Gunther at
that was a
hell of a match, though. Aside from the ending, that was a hell of a match.
Yeah. That was a true slobber knocker, as JR would put it.
And I knew Gunther was going to win. I told Jeremy they weren't going to have both King and Queen on the same show. So,
I was actually figuring on Gunther winning, but at the same time, I was also thinking, well, maybe Randy will win, because a lot of people are asking already for Randy versus Cody.
Well,
and in order to do that, but keep Randy face, King of the Ring would have been perfect, ideal for that.
Right, but I kind of like to see the Gunther versus Damien.
Damien, that'd be badass.
That's gonna be a badass match
And
too.
and Triple H could always, honestly, well, controversial finish will give you your shot against Cody too.
He could, yeah.
Who knows?
Or maybe have him. Oh, you got to fight one more person or something. Of course, RKO, pin, blah blah.
Well,
blah.
as it stands right now, it's gonna be Gunther going after Damien.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. That'll be a banger.
Yes, it will.
That can be a
well-
slobber knocker from hell too.
And I hope by then there's no Judgment Day in this corner.
Here's where
No.
Damien is going to have the advantage because he wears a shirt while he's wrestling. So when Gunther does his chops, it's not going to sting so bad.
Yeah,
I
but
go borrow Roman Reigns' old bulletproof vest thing he wore.
but I could see Gunther ripping that off of him.
Absolutely.
He might. Yeah.
Did you see Randy Orton in that welt like after that first big one he got? Just
Oh,
like
yeah.
immediate, just boom.
He did that one, but that did not show up nearly as well as the one that he gave Sheamus on the back.
Yeah, no,
Oh, I know
absolutely.
After that match was over, when they got that close up of Randy, I agree. It looked like hamburger.
Yeah.
His whole chest.
That's real chops right there.
You know, I'd be sitting there in the back. I'd be like, damn, Gunther, take it easy on these guys.
Yeah. Stiffen or unstiffen up a little bit, buddy.
Man, yeah, well, they don't call him the ring general for nothing.
He does what he needs to do. And that shotgun drop kick thing he does, I always like that.
Yeah.
He did it to his knee.
Those chops, I mean, his chops make Ric Flair's old chops look like babies play.
Oh,
Yeah.
There's nothing compared to what Gunther
So
did.
I'm talking about Ric Flair when he was in his prime.
Yeah.
You know, back in Ric Flair's day with his chops, they used to. But I would. It's just too bad you can't do that. I mean, someday I'm sure the technology is going to get better that some of us will be able to do that. But I'd like to see like a claymation version or an animation version of Gunther versus Ric Flair in his prime.
Oh, boy.
Well, that's showing MTV.
You can do that on the 2K games.
Yeah.
I know, but but that'd be kind of boring. And but I guess that would be kind of cool. We could just have them play each other, computer versus computer, and see who wins.
Yeah, but the problem is on the 2K games that they do all the moves.
Yeah, well, I just want to see. I'm talking about like how they did it on that one Rocky movie, where they took a computer-generated version of Rocky in his prime and put it against the current champion, and who is going to win. And it was in one of the later Rocky movies.
Rocky 5, I think.
It was after the Russian one.
Yeah, that'd be Rocky 5 because the Russian came in and
the real life boxer, that white guy was a boxing champion, Tommy something.
Tommy Morrison.
Yeah, Tommy Morrison.
yeah. And another really hard chop that I remember was in Royal Rumble '94 when Tenryu was giving Lex Luger those chops.
Yeah.
They echoed in that building.
There's been some. There you go, Jeremy. Put them side by side on a video. Gunther and Ric Flair,
Yeah, that'd be
just to compare the.
just to compare the chops.
I think Gunther does more of an open hand, don't he?
Yeah.
Whereas Ric Flair did like the knife edge.
Yeah, nice chop.
When Ric Flair did his chops, I always thought he did it with the back of his hand.
Yeah, he did like a knife edge. Or
Yeah, I always thought
supposed
he
to
did
be.
it with the back of the hand. Greg Valentine, the way that he did it was that he grabbed it and then let it snap at the people.
Yeah.
But
All I
But
know
Gunther
is
does.
Flair used to in his younger days, in his prime, when he was like him and Sting were really going at it back in the day. Man, he had some chops, and Sting's chest would get redder than a fucking
Yeah.
apple.
Redder than Nick after he hears the words boobs.
not just boobies.
Boobies. I'm sorry, my bad.
Yeah, you got to have that ease in there.
My friend should make him a cake like that and send it to him. Booby cakes, just to have him open it on air.
My aunt used to have the molds for those.
Nice.
She used to make them for her two brothers for their birthdays.
My dad gave me one the last year he was alive for my birthday.
One year she ended up wearing the boob cake that she made because it was just one of those freak accidents. Her brother turned around and just started laughing, and all of a sudden the cake went this way. And it's like, oh my God, Aunt Barb's going to throw a fit. I was like 15, 16 years old when that happened, and I'm like, oh, shit.
Now, I did see where Donald did catch our show at some point because he shared the show on his.
Oh, nice. Nice.
So, anyway, next match.
Yeah, next match. Cody and.
Yeah,
No.
Cody, Logan Paul.
I did not watch this one, so I'm going to stay out of it.
Aren't we missing one?
No, there was only 5 matches on the pay-per-view and 1 match on the pre-show.
Okay.
Yeah, only 6 total.
Yeah. So Cody Rhodes, Logan Paul, they had a nice little build-up for the little time that they had.
Yep.
And they had a really good match. Now, they were. Oh, no. Really quick. Back on Gunther and Randy Orton, I want to bring up. Randy kept tossing or slamming Gunther onto the announce table, and it kept not breaking.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah.
Was it that like side suplex thing?
It was like a follow-away slam.
Yeah.
He does that a lot, and they don't break, though. So I think that's just kind of his standard move.
Maybe it was reinforced for Saudi Arabia.
Or that.
Well, the Saudis table broke right away, but there was a lot more force on that one.
Because they had to keep it up for when Cody tried to RKO Logan Paul here. I mean, Cody Cutter Logan Paul. My bad.
But I thought that, okay, he's going to slam him on the table. Everything breaks apart back in the ring. And he kept doing it and doing it and doing it. I'm thinking, okay. It's like they're expecting this table to break, and it's not.
That could be, too. That could be.
Yeah. And that happened a few times where it did not break when it was supposed to. And then the opposite has happened where they would get on it, and before they even get a chance to do what they're supposed to do, the table gives way.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cody and Logan. So it turned out to be a really good match, and I liked the whole thing where Logan's cronies interfered like they always do, and
They all backfired and blew up in his face.
One guy. What's that?
I said it all backfired and blew up in his face.
Let's see. Logan did get another set of brass knuckles and slammed it into Cody's stomach.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then as the finish match,
Then he hit him in his tights.
did he?
Yeah, he put him in his tights. They were down by his groin area the whole time.
And then he tried it again, and he tried to hit Cody at the finisher, and Cody grabbed him and said, I'm Cody, bitch. And then he put it across. Yeah,
And he hit him with the crossbones.
But you know what my best part is? My
Yeah.
favorite part, and I was worried for a little bit here too. But Cody had Logan beat so bad that there was no way in hell Logan was going to answer the 10 count.
Oh yeah, Chris.
And Cody stopped the ref from counting to 10. He was just about to say 10, and Cody grabbed his hand and stopped him and said, this ain't happening. I'm not done yet. And I thought for a while there, I thought, oh shit, this is a mistake. He could have just won the match by count out. It would have been over with.
And it almost did.
And
It did.
And I thought, oh shit, now Logan Paul is gonna, because of this, Logan Paul is gonna get the belt, and he had, But I'm glad it worked out the way it did.
Yeah.
The spot there towards the beginning of the match that I really liked, when how Cody was doing he falls down and then hits the guy from below.
Yeah.
Logan caught that with one hand. It's you're not doing that to me.
Well, that's because when he does that, that's a thing that his father used to do.
No, that was Dustin that did that.
No, Dustin did it in a as a tribute. It was all a thing that Dusty used to do.
I don't remember Dusty doing that.
Oh yeah, watch some of those old Four Horsemen matches where Dusty's going up against the Four Horsemen. Both he used to do that, plus the bionic elbow. Those are both Dusty's moves.
Okay, I don't recall ever seeing.
So every time those two boys do those moves, because they both do those moves, every time they do them, it's paying homage to their father.
Okay.
Yeah,
That was a big Dusty.
I haven't seen all the Dusty matches except WWF.
Oh,
unfortunately, and that was not Dusty. I know.
That black yellow polka that was not Dusty Rhodes.
Mhm.
Dusty and a guy named a wrestler named Tully Blanchard. They had the Four Horsemen. They had some of the bloodiest matches ever back in the day. They had matches where the ropes of the ring were wrapped in barbed wire.
Yeah, I've seen like highlights, but I'm gonna have to go and watch some matches of those.
Oh yeah, they and Tully Blanchard and Dusty Rhodes tore each other apart time and time again.
Oh yeah, back in the 80s they did get brutal.
Trying to figure out where the bright light's coming from.
I mean, I remember. I mean, you got to realize these guys got brutal. I mean, they even set those tables on fire before dropping you through them, and that was something that they did long ago.
Long before the Dudley Boys were doing it.
Yeah. The Dudley Boys just took everything to a whole new level. Inventing the table, ladder, and chair matches with Edge and Christian and
the Hardy Boys.
The Hardy Boys, yeah. But it was still way too soon for Cody to lose his belt, so we all knew that was not going to happen.
I'm going to say that he'll lose the title at SummerSlam next year.
A year and a half.
I'm upset. Well, here's the other rumor I heard, and I'm surprised it didn't happen. He got kind of upset and pissed a little bit.
Who did?
Because of the way Logan Paul got out of putting his title on the line.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So it wasn't title versus title. So I guess during the time that happened, where that happened and stuff like this, wasn't that like a SmackDown like 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
The contract signing. So when that happened, Cody actually really seriously started considering management.
Yeah.
Like getting a manager and something so he didn't get screwed over like that again.
Can you imagine if Paul Heyman became his manager?
Yeah, but but think about it. If that title versus title and Cody would have been a Grand Slam champion right now,
Yes,
and
he would.
Logan Paul would not have that U.S. title.
Which I thought that was going to be the plan, because Logan is not full-time wrestling like he said he was going to be. And we need full-time champions.
Well, to me, Logan Paul is nothing but an internet sensation, looking for his 15 minutes of fame.
That's how it was. And then when he came to the WWE, and then all of a sudden became, oh shit, this guy can go.
Yeah. I think he's got some good moves, and talks good.
I agree with what Cody said. He doesn't have the love for the business like a lot of those wrestlers do.
Right.
And you know, you look at all the greats over the years that really took all those risks and all those injuries and did what they did. They wouldn't have continued to do it through all those injuries if they didn't love the business like they did.
Absolutely.
Well, we can say that he does have one injury under his belt. I think he got injured when he took on Roman Reigns 2 years ago.
Logan Paul?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had to have knee surgery, and then he came back at the Rumble.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still, he doesn't have that passion for the business. He's in it for the fame and the money.
Well, he's a lot better than most of the celebrities that show up there that can't even do a drop kick or
Right,
a
I get
punch.
that, but
Everybody that's come out.
you know, some of those celebrities were there invited by WWE to do cross promotions.
Yeah.
You know, so they weren't expected to, you know, some of those wrestlers were never expected to win their matches.
Yeah. But the thing with Logan Paul, nobody expected him to be as good as he is.
Oh, yeah. Well, nobody, you know, the wrestling community didn't know of his background because he was nothing but an internet sensation. But apparently he's got martial arts, MMA and boxing and all these backgrounds.
Yep.
You know,
And
now he just needs an attitude adjustment by the right person. Needs to give him an attitude adjustment. That's all. And
that guy's making movies now. He can't give any anymore.
Logan Paul could be a great wrestler. He's just got him and that other little bastard.
Theory.
Yeah, Theory. They
Or
both
Waller.
well, Waller's not so bad if he's away from Theory.
like Waller. I really like Grayson Waller. I just can't stand Theory.
That's what I said. Grayson Waller's not so bad when he's away from. You get him away from that little bitch boy Austin Theory that thinks that entitled brat that thinks he's entitled because Vince McMahon picked him as his guy. Remember that?
Yes.
Yep.
All right. That put him into that super conceited mode. Him, Austin Theory, and
Grayson Waller.
no, Logan Paul.
Oh,
They need a major attitude adjustment by somebody that they just can't beat. That'll just tear the shit out of them.
put him in the ring with APA.
Yeah.
Damn.
Beat the shit out of them. Or put one of them at a time in a cage with the Beast, Braun Strowman, and just sick him on him.
Oh,
Yeah.
Man. He'd tear them to shreds.
Yeah, put them both in it, separately, singles matches, but in a cage with Braun Strowman so they can't run. See, there's nowhere to go.
Right.
Because Austin Theory is known for running.
But I'll tell you what, for a man his size, Braun can run fast. I've only ever seen one person put him down when he comes around the ring post, and that was Angelo Dawkins.
Yeah.
I tell you, he's come a long way too, and I can't wait. I really want to see what's happened that day. That fucking code that they keep showing up is driving me nuts. I'm not quick enough to catch it when it shows up, so I wait until somebody posts the video and stuff, and then I
Yeah.
watch.
Yeah.
But I tell you, I keep watching the rumor mills and stuff, and I can't wait. You know, I miss the guy since he's been gone, and I'm glad his brother's carrying it on. You know.
Yeah.
And it's too bad because his brother's not going to get his dream of them being tag team champions together in the ring in WWF
Right.
No, but
or WWE. I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah, you're fine. I knew what you're
old
talking about.
school again, you know.
it took me 23 years just to start calling it WWE.
I know it's rough, ain't it?
Same.
But you know that was their dream as brothers. You know, Bo Dallas. I've watched a lot of stuff on Bray since he's been passed away and stuff, especially that documentary. And you know, I get the feeling that the plan was at some point for Bo to come back, and you know, because
He was back.
right, he was portraying the Uncle Howdy character.
Yeah.
But for this, when Bray and everything, when it made that comeback, because he was making a new mask type character for himself, you know, still being, you know, the Fiend and all or whatever. But the thing was, they were going to end up going for the belts at some point. That was the plan for them. You know?
And unfortunately, life just.
I mean, and then the two of them could have been inducted into the Hall of Fame just like, you know, their father and their uncle.
Yeah.
You know,
We already know Bray
as
Wyatt.
a great tag team.
Yeah. Bray Wyatt is already a shoe-in for the Hall of Fame just
Next year,
he is.
it's. I think it's going to happen next year because the only reason it didn't happen this year is the family. The family said it was too soon.
Yeah. And rightfully so, because Mike deserved his own induction.
Right. And the U.S. Express was getting inducted this year.
Yeah. So
Which was his father and his uncle.
Right. He earned that a long time ago. I'm surprised it took this long for it to happen.
Yeah. Bray Wyatt, I mean, when I watched that documentary, I couldn't believe that he was like the entire creative mind behind the whole thing.
Oh, I could.
And it's like, oh my God, it's too bad he was taken so young because I can't even imagine what would have been next for him.
You know the old saying, only the good die young.
Yeah, and
that's why we're still alive, Joe.
yeah, well, I'm still alive because apparently my work's not done yet.
Exactly.
You know, I discovered a secret. I'll tell you offline. I don't like to.
Oh no, absolutely.
But it could piss some people off.
You're a vampire.
Well, no, I'll tell you after.
I'm kidding. I'm just messing.
But I do. I thought Bray Wyatt's character and all of that I thought it was the most creative thing I had ever seen. Next, when The Undertaker first appeared.
Yeah.
You know, it ranked right up there with The Undertaker first appearing. You know. And then you got the thing of, you know, you might have thought that he was actually a crazy, you know, because the way he portrayed this character so well. But he was actually a really decent person backstage to everybody. You know, sounded like he didn't have a mean bone in his body.
so many people told stories. The one that I remember the most was Becky Lynch when it was after Raw went off the air, and she was telling the entire crowd about how there was something that she didn't know how to do or felt comfortable doing. So before the show, Bray brought her to the ring and worked with her to do that.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like he was like generous in a way at helping out his fellow people, his coworkers, his peers.
And that's how it should be.
And look what he did to. I mean, I felt bad for Alexa because he took Alexa under his wing and gave her a whole new persona. And I think it was working because, you got to admit, when the first time you saw Alexa Bliss, when she first appeared, first thing that came to mind was Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. And I mean, yeah, she's got a gift in all of this, and because she's what is that, double jointed or whatever, the way she can manipulate herself.
Yeah.
I mean, they underutilized her with that Harley Quinn getup, and I think she was starting to come about with Bray Wyatt's help, and it's too bad he passed away.
Yeah.
And I think out of all the wrestlers that he touched, it probably hurt her the most emotionally.
Well, she even named her kid after in honor of him. The middle name is Ro, I think, which was French for red. And it was from when Bray Wyatt said that he's the color red in the world of black and white or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I always liked Alexa Bliss, but he sure did help her really become better.
Yeah.
And no telling what could have happened if and
Hendrix Rouge Cabrera.
Roots. Okay.
And it kind of sucks because the other one's not around anymore either, because there's two out of that Wyatt family now that passed away.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because the first one was Luke Harper, and boy, he was really starting something there really extremely big on AEW before he passed away.
Well,
even with Cody,
started something big in WWE before he got released.
Right, but he started this. What was that? I forgot what it was called because it went on for a while after he passed away too.
the faction.
The faction that he started over in AEW.
Yeah, God, what was that called? I can't remember.
Dark Order.
Yeah, the Dark Order.
Yep.
And all of a sudden that guy was like, he went from a freak to like a leader of a whole faction, and all of a sudden, boom, he's gone.
Yeah. And nobody saw that one coming.
No, nobody saw that one coming.
Saw Bray coming either, but everybody knew that Bray was sick, but
didn't know how sick.
He was getting better too.
Right.
And he was, but it was because of the heart monitor that he didn't wear. So,
yeah, that was one character I really loved to watch. I mean, I wasn't a fan of Pee Wee's Playhouse, but I sure was a fan of Bray's. The Firefly Playhouse.
Yeah, that was because they were
the puppets, the whole thing. I really digged it, the way he did it. It was brilliant. That guy was a fucking genius, and I would have loved to seen if he like say he lasted and lived out his life retired from wrestling, could you see the type of things he would come up with for, like, say, movies and direct them and write them and stuff? Oh, it would have been amazing.
It would have.
Because Hollywood's got no fucking imagination, and they need somebody that has an imagination. And God, that guy had an imagination.
He did.
He could have come out with some of the greatest horror movies of all time. I bet.
He made a whole horror movie just from the Wyatt family, and then he
Yeah.
made another one with the Fiend.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I mean, he made those puppets. He made them. You know, he made the masks that he wore. I mean, this guy was like I said, he's a fucking genius. And if he couldn't do it, he found somebody that could do it.
Yeah.
You know?
I really like that evil Vince McMahon puppet that he had.
Yeah.
I just would have loved and I know it's taken a while because Bo is worried because he's like, I'm not going to be able to be as good as my brother type thing. You know, I don't have that creative bug and stuff that he did.
Right, and it's very understandable. He was a good wrestler in his own right, but he just didn't have that.
He didn't have that creative bug.
Well, it's not just a creative buzz, but he didn't really have the charisma.
No one believed in him.
Right. Well, I liked him, and I always thought he was being underutilized, especially when they tagged him. And what was that tag team called? I don't even remember.
The Social Outcasts.
You know,
Was Curtis Axel or?
Curtis Axel,
oh,
Rose.
Curtis Axel was another. He could have been a better wrestler too if they would have utilized him better.
He could have
Liked
been.
his dad a lot.
Well, his dad and his grandfather.
Yeah.
I really liked that Adam Rose, Axl Rose.
Adam Rose with his rosebuds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I really liked him.
Yeah.
Is that the one that came out with a whole party of people?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, he was something else.
And then they did it again with No Way Jose.
Yeah, well,
Braun Strowman was a rosebud.
yeah, but it didn't work so well with it didn't work as well with No Way Jose as it did with that other dude.
Yeah.
You know, some of the things that they made these guys do, some of those characters, I honestly felt like, here's another one. Here's to bring up some past for you, and then I gotta grab a soda. Disco Inferno.
Oh yeah,
Remember him?
Yes.
I do. He actually has his own podcast now on YouTube.
Yes, he
I haven't
does.
listened to it, but I do know that he has his own podcast on YouTube.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're coming up on 2.5 hours,
Dang.
and so far my screen hasn't flickered since I said, okay, we need to hurry. Looks like my connection is stable, but it is getting kind of late. So
Yeah, it's 8:20 here now. 8:18, whatever. And
Yeah.
I know it's later where you're at, so
yeah, it's 10:18. So I'm Eastern, Joe Central, and you're Mountain.
yep.
Now all we need is somebody in California to get Joe.
I know I was gonna say we just need to pull someone from Cali. Call up Jill real quick for a second.
Yeah. I don't think he knows anything about wrestling now.
Me neither. Just have somebody in each time zone. Then bye.
There's no soda, Cottonmouth.
Yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. So the King and Queen of the Ring pay-per-view I thought was good. The audience was good, not quite on the level as France. Well, I don't think anybody will be on the level that France was.
No.
But they did sing to Randy Orton's music.
But think that was the first time they were in France, though, too, Jerry or
I know.
Jeremy, for that
I
for a
know.
big pay-per-view event. So that's why the turnout was so huge.
That was the first time I think I can say that a crowd really showed how much they appreciated having them there.
You know,
Yep.
The crowd sang to Cody Rhodes, but not quite like they did with Randy. So I think that's going to start becoming a thing now, especially on the international market. I don't know if the U.S. will do that or not.
Right. So what do you give it overall, Jeremy? What's your ranking? However you want to rank it.
I'm going to give it out of 5 stars. I'll give the whole thing a 4.
There. Yeah, I'm right about there, I think, too.
Joe?
Joe?
I think I'll go, yeah, maybe a 3 3/4. You know, I mean, yeah.
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 We've outlined the reasons all throughout the show. They can go back and watch.
There were, you know, I mean, Dominic, I don't, you know, I get those storylines, but Dominic should have just kept his fucking nose out of it. You know, I didn't really like to see Becky Lynch lose, but again, you know, Liv Morgan does deserve her little reign
Yeah.
for a while.
She does.
And especially if Becky's leaving.
But they're building on something because there are little teasers with Dominic and Liv, so they are building something.
Well, yeah, it's going to be the end of the Judgment Day eventually, I think. I mean, look at all the...
No, the end of Judgment Day is going to be Damian and Finn. It's not.
Well, yeah, that's what it's going to come down to, exactly. But, I mean, it's already started. You got the glue that was holding the Judgment Day is gone.
Yes.
Rhea Ripley is out on injury, you know. So now you've got these two egomaniacs that think they're better than each other, Finn Balor and Damian Priest, and eventually the dude, what's his name, JD McDonough?
Yeah.
He's going to cause the friction between those two to butt the heads, you know, where they actually go at it. And that's going to be the end of Judgment Day.
Before he even joined.
And see, the little chicken shit little bastard, now that mommy's gone, you see him floating around all these different places. Like he was floating around over by, what's his name? Not the huh?
Santos.
Yeah. Little group over there and getting friendly with them because he knows the end of Judgment Day is coming, so he's got to have a place to go and a clique to be in and somebody to follow and kiss their ass.
Well, it was also to get Carlito to get Carlito joined in. Damian put a stop to that one.
That's not cool.
Well, Carlito is a little dick anyways because he's never been loyal to anybody but himself. That wasn't the first time I've seen Carlito backstab an entire faction, especially one that included Rey Mysterio.
Yeah. So we're looking into some really interesting storylines, and right now, the only thing that we have for sure for Clash of the Castle is Damian versus Drew for the world title.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we're going to be seeing Cody in there because I think now that Cody has the title, he'll be defending on every pay-per-view.
Well, he might even be defending it on what is it, SmackDown? Is that now? Yeah. So you never know.
He'll be defending against somebody on SmackDown.
Cody is a fighting champion compared to some of the other ones that, you know, I mean, who was the one that invented that? Where it was like
the fighting champion?
Wasn't it Cena that came out with one of the titles that he said, and he's like an open challenge night every night.
The
He
US
kept coming
title.
out.
was John Cena that started.
That's why I said it was John Cena that came out with whatever belt he was holding at the time. He started it all and saying it's an open challenge. He did that on like Monday Night Raw or every SmackDown or whatever he was on.
Yeah. I think it was the U.S. title.
But still.
Yeah.
But he's away, yeah.
I think that's how Cody's going to be.
IC title.
Yep.
So I'm curious to see what we're going to see with Clash of the Castle. But before that will be NXT Battleground. That'll be in 2 weeks.
And do we know any matches for that one yet? I mean, I don't personally, but
I don't watch NXT too much.
me neither.
Only
There
when
are
there's
3
something.
matches announced for that one. Is Shayna Baszler versus Lola Vice,
Okay.
Obi Finley versus Wesley, and versus Joe Coffey. So a triple threat match for the North American title. And then they had the ladder match for the women's North American title. So far, Lash Legend, Jada Parker, Fallon Henley, and So Ruka.
That's going to be some fire right there. That
Yeah.
could be a good one.
So Ruka is the one that's got everybody's attention because of how she moves in that ring.
She flips, she flops, she's a lot like Kofi. I mean, that's who immediately. Jeff
Yeah.
Hardy, Kofi. She's one of the fast moving.
Well, it's no doubt who influenced her, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And then there's another one where Roxanne Perez, her opponent is to be announced, but
Yeah.
she is going to be defending the women's championship there. We just don't know who yet. So those are
I
the.
expect her to get called up sometime soon, honestly.
I'm surprised she hasn't already.
Yeah, I'm surprised she wasn't in the draft at some point.
It happens.
When she came into the Rumble this year, I thought that was her call up.
Yeah, sometimes I think it is, but then they only come up for the Rumble and they go back to where they came from.
But she has her title right now and
We'll see what
doing
happens.
the semi-heel. I mean, she's trying to be heel. I don't think she's pulling it off very good, but she's being the heel.
Yeah. So that's what we got. Battleground in 2 weeks, and then the following week will be Clash of the Castle. So
Cool. Are you doing a review or preview for that, or?
I'll talk to Donald. We were supposed to do the review tonight. Then the thing came up with the trees. Like
Family's always first. Family's
Yeah,
always
well,
first.
that and I got my wrestling show that I was having. The other half tends to fall asleep.
Okay.
Working a lot of hard hours, and I ain't going to do shows by myself right now. Not yet.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
it's not fun doing it. So
No, I tried that once. And yeah, we had to cut it off, and I deleted it off Facebook. And all right, Mark, we're not even going to do the show unless you show up. And eventually, he was having internet trouble, so I tried to start the show and do it without him until he arrived, and I couldn't do it.
Couldn't do it.
Nope.
Well, you can always tag me in, Joe, as long as I'm off work already.
So, but he doesn't even know because he hasn't called me back yet. Some bitch I called. He never answers his phone, so I get his answering machine or whatever voicemail, and it's like I hang up because I know damn well he knows I called when he looks at
Right?
his-
Yeah.
I
They see Joe called, or
I can see it now. Do that little spin off with the Harry Potter thing. Go with the JK wrestling show.
there you go. JK Wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah, hell, we could do that. I mean, she falls asleep all the time.
Like I said, tag me in anytime you need me. Let me know. Hit me up on Facebook
She
or whatever.
works hard. She works hard. She's got some health issues, so
Right? No, that's no problem.
I'm older, but still. And then
I
I worry when she goes out and tries to mow the lawn like she did today and stuff, and it's like, God damn it.
I won't do a solo show unless I got like 10 people in the audience that I can.
No, I can't do it at all yet.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Anytime after 6 my time, usually I'm available, roughly. So
Well, I do it at what is it? We do it at 7 o'clock our time, my time, Central.
so yeah, right about then. So
Yeah.
if I know at least like 3 or 4 hours in advance, dude, I'm there. If you ever need somebody.
Oh, we could set it up regular and I could change everything. I'll talk to her though.
Yeah, I mean, I can be a backup like I was today. I don't need to be there
All right,
every week or every week, whatever. We can talk about it off air.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So we're going to go ahead and call it a day. 2 hours, 35 minutes. So that's pretty decent show.
The best wrestling show ever.
I do know that we have one major fan. His name is Nick Pulaski. He keeps requesting reviews for some of the old shows.
Yeah.
He asked for WrestleMania 5, a specific Monday Night Raw, No Way Out, and he just most recently asked us to do a Primetime Wrestling from back in 1989.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So he's really digging our show, and I'm glad. I'm glad.
That's awesome.
I'm glad these results. So I'm really glad that we got somebody who enjoys this as much as he does.
That's great. You need those people, even if it's just one or two. You need those people.
Yeah, absolutely. I just wish that he was able to watch us live.
Yeah.
It seems like he always catches us on the replay.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Live would be funner to interact, but
Okay.
that's why I try and watch you guys when I can.
And I don't know if Joe realizes this, but he's on mute.
Yeah, I just realized I was on mute as you were saying.
We don't want to was saying to his wife anyway. Come on.
Well, I seen her start walking in, and like I said, she went out and mowed the lawn today, so she went really sore and stuff. And
she deserves those kisses.
Yeah. All right, well, guys, thank you so much for joining me tonight, so that we could actually have a show tonight.
Yeah, it was definitely fun.
That was fun. We went way off topic a few times, but
it was so fun. It was so fun. I love.
It's still like wrestling, but it was off the.
Yeah, it seemed like everything that we did talk about did tie into everything. That
it was all. It was still all wrestling related. Just it started because of one wrestler being in that match, and it went backwards. So it was all tied in.
Yeah, I thought it was all tied in. So.
It just wasn't all about pay-per-view.
That's okay.
But that's to be expected.
Well, yeah, with wrestling, it does. It happens.
And we got like 3 different minds here. We're not.
Stick around, Chris, if you can, for a minute.
Absolutely.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and do our outro. So I know we still have at least one viewer, so thank you so much for watching.
Yeah, thank you.
Whoever you are.
Yeah, and we will catch you guys next time. Have a good night.
Peace.